Hello, America. Dave Hodges here. I'm the host of the Common Sense Show, and we are the show that's freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, we serve God, family, country in that order. And I'm very, very concerned. And we've got a couple of things that we need to deal with. And these are the dominant issues along with the war. Three things. One, we got a problem with the data centers. Huge problem. And the more that the people behind it, like Kevin O'Leary, are queried on this, the more they're not telling you the truth. And I'm being very blunt about that, but it's true. They're giving you false information. And I believe ultimately this could result in AI dominance to the point where it's unhealthy, we're threatened. Even I see a mark of the beast. Then we look at Israel's taking over of America and the false notion that we're supposed to ignore our true covenant as Christians with the resurrection of Jesus Christ is the only way to salvation. And we're replacing it with loyalty to Israel as disguised by the misuse of the verse Genesis 12:3. You curse Israel, you'll be cursed. No one's cursing Israel. Now, I'm saying this, does not have our best interest at heart. It is a huge mistake to go along with him. He's trapped us in a war that's wrecking our economy. And, I could go on, but you get the idea. Those are the three major issues of our day. And all of these could expand to monumental problems that both as Americans and Christians, we need to be concerned about. And we're going to start breaking this down for you as we go through our journey. Now, I want to share with you something that is the supply lines are getting strained and stretched, and we're not getting very much new oil. And as I've said before, most of our oil, a lot of our oil is heavy sludge, and we export it to refineries in other countries that can take care of that. We don't have many refineries that do that, and it's a 5 to 10 year process to build them and to test them and to make sure it works and then integrate them within the system. So supply chains are in trouble. And this means by consequence, your medicine supply could be, and you need to take a look at having food, water, guns, gold, ammo. Now, I'm not a believer in violence at all, but you do have a right to defend your family. And I believe those that don't prepare for some potential hardships, if we keep going in this war, that are going to appear, they're real threats. And so I always say food, water, guns, gold, ammo, natural medicine, and tools. And I would also say that you really need to take a hard look at the natural medicine. And there are some things that are universally applicable that you can use. I've used them. I documented my journey in the use of the Nanosoma products. I've shown you use of all three products and the anecdotal experience I had with this, but there's also over 30 research studies out there that validate the use of these products here. And what we are looking at is, first of all, the Nanosoma liquid spray. This boosts your immune system to unbelievable levels. And the process, if you go to iwantmyhealthback.com/Dave Hodges, you'll see a description of how this works. I think most namely how it promotes cellular health to the telomeres, which predicts cell longevity. That's lifespan stuff. So although this product doesn't cure anything directly, it boosts your immune system to the level where it does the job. And then there is the Nanosoma gel, and I've talked to you about this. I'm in the gym. I've got the old arthritis problems after I came back from strep lung linings RSV with the spray. And my friend Scotty Sachs says, "Hey, Dave, use the gel." And Scotty, how long is this going to take? He goes, "I don't know." And we don't. It took me 6 to 8 weeks. 6 weeks ago, I'm a new man. I can do most everything in the gym. Today, I can do anything in the gym. Today, because I did a full body workout, I am sore. I'm still sore, but it's muscular soreness from use, not joint resistance and inflammation. And this will help you. And then, of course, there's the skin cream, the Nanosoma skin cream. And I showed you on this finger, and I had a reoccurrence of the cut. I needed stitches. And I thought, well, let me do an experiment here. I'll use this and I'll wrap it up. And I used the skin cream. And less than 2 weeks later, no stitches and no scar. Problem is, I stupidly cut it doing the same thing again, and I just repeated the process. This is the starter pack, all three products, 15% off. Go to iwantmyhealthback.com/Dave Hodges. If you think your medicine supply could be in jeopardy because of the supply chain issues that are going to only get worse as long as this war goes on, you really need to stock up on products like this. iwantmyhealthback.com/Dave Hodges. Okay, I'm going to show to you in a later segment. I'm going to show you an argument I had, a series of arguments with AI, in particular Grok. And Grok is useful. I mean, I'll go in and I'll ask a query on something, and it's pretty good when I've checked out the accuracy. It's pretty good. I always recommend check out the accuracy because they're known to have made mistakes. But I ask questions about Christian Zionism. I ask questions about where does a true Christian's duty lie? Is it to Genesis 12:3? And is that equal to the resurrection and resulting from the crucifixion? And I asked these questions, and I actually had a debate with AI, and I'm going to walk you through this. I also took a look at the data center and high tech issues, and I'm going to share those with you as we go through our segments today, because I think they're important. Because something has happened in our relationship with Israel. And let me step aside. I always have to give the disclaimer, and I probably should do it in everything I do where I mention Israel. Number one, okay, and I didn't say this for a long time because I thought it was patronizing. But I shared this with a friend of mine yesterday who's Jewish, and I just said, I get called anti-Semite because I don't support what Netanyahu did in Gaza. I don't support Israel's attempt to take over a lot of what we do. And I said, this is a national political issue. It's not a spiritual issue. It's not an attack upon Jewish people. So I honor Genesis 12:3 in spirit. I don't owe my allegiance to a foreign government. And when I say that, you're anti-Semitic. Okay, well, we're going to have that debate in a later segment. I'll just say this. Number one, is a college basketball player the best friend I ever had in that? Okay, there's the old argument, well, I got a friend that's okay. Well, I did. And number two, and more to the point, and I told my friend yesterday, I said, I'm going to start saying it. I don't care if it sounds patronizing. My grandmother on my father's side, her maiden name was Freiberg. Are you hearing me? So please take that anti-Semitic criticism. It's a catch-all label to say you don't dare disagree with me, and stick that nonsense in your ear and start paying attention to real issues and stop hiding behind the equalization of Genesis 12:3 with the resurrection of Jesus Christ as an equal issue. It is not an equal issue. And we're going to walk through that here, and we're going to talk about my argument with AI. And I can tell you, I got some real insight as to AI's influences, because remember, it's programmed by somebody with predetermined biases that we all have. I fully admit I'm Christian first. People in other religions, you have the right. It's your First Amendment right in our country. But also, too, there's a part of me that says, I wish I could say and do something to bring you around to, I think, more of, well, fill in the blank. Okay. I don't mean to sound condescending. And I'm not trying to say, well, I have all the answers. But when it comes to the Lord Jesus Christ, through that, I do have the answers. And I hope for people coming to that. But I don't condemn you when I don't. In fact, actually, when people become our enemies, what are we supposed to do? Like Erica Kirk, she took Charlie Kirk's beautiful organization and has turned it into a front for Zionism and totally reversed Charlie's policies and is doing all kinds of hideous things with finances. Okay, here's my answer. Pray for Erica Kirk. Pray that God shows her the light, she follows, and she gets back on the path that Charlie was on. And she does the audit that Charlie ordered 8 days before his death. We're supposed to pray for our enemies, and I am. But also, we have a duty to each other to expose false teachings idolatry, misinterpretations of the Bible. And that's a lot of what I do here. We are a society that is in deep, deep trouble. And we're in deep trouble because we strayed away from what the founding fathers knew. And to say this, it's like David and Goliath, okay? If God wasn't on David's side, he would never have been able to do what he did to Goliath. Never. That was divine intervention. And when we had our American Revolution, that was divine intervention. You had a little group of colonials with a merchant class leading a revolution over a 2% tax on tea, and they took on the biggest military, the most powerful military in the world, and wore them out. We really didn't win the Revolutionary War. A lot of people say Yorktown was the final battle. No, no, we had lost a major sea battle a couple of weeks later. The British could have kept fighting. They had to make a decision how much money they wanted to pour into this. Oh, does this sound familiar? Israel, as I said, only has to outlast us. The Viet Cong and the North Vietnamese army in the 60s and 70s outlasted us. They didn't defeat us. They didn't win one major battle, but they outlasted us. This is where we're at today. This is all biblical. It's happened before. And it's interesting, the media lies about it like these things never existed. I heard Glenn Greenwald give a quote the other day, and boy, was it brilliant. He told a bunch of blatant Zionists that you owe Israel your fidelity and your duty. No, we don't. They're another country. We owe them our love and respect, but not blind obedience, bordering really on expected slavery. And Glenn Greenwald said, with all the twisting of these issues going on in the media, all the lying by the politicians saying they represent America when 94% of them are taking money from AIPAC, the Israeli lobby. He said that's like a reporter going out and giving false references, false stories, and then coming back tomorrow and say, no, believe the next story I'm writing. We've lived all this before and in recent American history. The fact is we have deviated from our Christian principles that led to the underpinning of our government. And I'll leave you with this thought. It used to be when you walked into a courtroom, you'd see the Ten Commandments. You rarely see that anymore. It used to be in law schools, now they still teach this in religious law schools, but not in secular, that the Ten Commandments was the basis for our legal code. And it is. Thou shalt not steal. Used to be illegal to commit adultery. Used to be illegal to use the Lord's name in vain. And I'm going back in history for this. But the founding fathers said if we're going to endure, if we're going to have a chance to beat the powerful British, if we're going to keep from being crushed as a young nation, we better have God on our side. And unfortunately, we have moved away from that purpose. We have taken God's blessings for granted, and now I believe we're a nation under judgment. Now, we serve a merciful God and we can reverse course, and this is a lot of what I'm going to give you today. And I know some of you are saying, oh, don't give me that religious stuff, Hodges. Okay. Then have fun trying to make sense out of this crazy world. Because what you're arguing and fighting against are manifestations of a spiritual war that's going on. And if you don't understand the spiritual war, and if you don't understand what the Bible is truly telling you, then you have no chance to successfully mitigate the physical manifestations of the challenges we face today. Whether it's the debt or the Iranians or the Chinese or our internal crazies who have devalued human existence, you have no chance. And I would encourage those of you who don't know the Lord, you don't know how much time you have left, and we're talking about eternity. We're not just talking about saving a nation, we're talking about saving your soul. And I sincerely hope that you sit back and take in and you listen today to what I have to say. And I don't think I'm going to be 100% right. No one ever is. But I'm generally correct. And I take your feedback and I take it seriously. But I will tell you what I'm not going to compromise on. This country is off course spiritually, and this is what we're suffering from. If we were to use a medical analogy, we're over drinking, we're overeating, we're using too many drugs, and we've become flippant, sarcastic, and irreverent. And now we're under the judgment. Do you want to get out from under the judgment? Well, then you got to go on a spiritual diet. I'm Dave Hodges. This is the Common Sense Show, and I'm going to encourage you to do something because we are going to seek out other venues. We may continue here, we may not. I don't know. I haven't made that decision. But we are going to look at spaces, and there, you're free to be me, so to speak. And I think I can do a lot more with that venue. Um, so what I need you to do, so I have access to people and I can let you know, hey, we're over here now. I'd like for you to go, if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, go to our website at thecommonsenseshow.com. Okay, put in your email. That's all we need, and you'll get an update every single day from us. And it has most of what we do. Hey, thanks for joining us. God bless all of you. We'll see you back here in the next segment.